أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. This is the Lessons in Arabic Language program, and it is designed for beginners who know nothing about the Arabic language. I will try to cover as much ground as possible. I want you to know how to read and write by the end of this program. So let us get to work, and I'm going to start with the alphabet. The first letter is Alif. This is the letter, just a straight line. The name of the letter is Alif, and it is equivalent to A in English. The second letter is Ba. The name of the letter is Ba, and it's equivalent to the English B. The next letter is Ta. 2 dots. Ta. And it's equivalent to the English letter T. The next letter has 3 dots. Tha. Tha. I want you to look at me now. Tha. You stick your tongue out. Tha. TH as in think, through, TH. Tha. TH as in think. And the name of the letter is Tha. The next letter is Jim. Jim. And it looks like this. Has a dot right here. The name of the letter is Jim. It is equivalent to G or J. G as in go or J as in John. It can be used either way. The next letter looks exactly the same, except it doesn't have a dot. And this is the letter Ha. Ha. It's like a loud whisper. Ha. A lot of English-speaking people have trouble with this letter. They confuse it with the next letter, which is the letter Kha. They pronounce this letter, which is Ha. They pronounce it Kha, and that is wrong. So you have to watch for this. This letter is Ha, a loud whisper. And we write it as an H with a dot under it. So this is the letter Ha, represented by the letter H with a dot under it. And you can think of it as a loud whisper. The next letter looks exactly the same, except it has a dot on the top. Now this is the letter Kha. This is the letter Kha, not the other one. The other one is Ha. The letter before this one is Ha. This is Kha. It comes from the throat, kha. The other one is ha. This is kha. It is represented by the English kh. Of course, there is no kha in English. Maybe there's some in Scottish where they say the lach, monster, the kha. But there is no English kha, so we represent it by kh. The next letter is dal. Looks like this, and the name of the letter is dal, and it is equivalent to the English D as in David. The next letter is dhal. Looks exactly the same, except it has a dot on top of it. This is dhal. We write it like this. The name of the letter is dhal, and it is represented by DH. It sounds like TH as in then. This is the letter dhal. TH as in then, the. The next letter is Ra. Looks like this, and the name of the letter is Ra, and the English equivalent is R. The next letter is exactly the same, except it has a dot on top of it. So now you can see that the dots are very important in the Arabic language. The placing of one dot, two dots on top of the letter or at the bottom of the letter is very important. This is the letter Zain. This is the name of the letter, Zain, and it's equivalent to Z in English. The next letter is Sin, and it looks like this. It has 3 teeth. Sin. That's the name of the letter. It's equivalent to S, as in Sam. The next letter looks exactly the same, except it has 3 dots on top of it. And this is Sheen. The name of the letter is Sheen, and it's equivalent to the English SH, as in show. The next letter is Sad. We have to move fast because we'll give you the maximum Arabic. This is Sad. Now this is a heavy S. It is not like the regular S of Sam. This is a heavy S. There is no Sad, or Sa. And there's no English, of course, equivalent to this letter. The closest would be any word with a heavy S, like some. I don't know, there's no equivalent in the English language, but it's a heavy S, and we represent it by an S with a dot under it. So the English equivalent looks like this. It's just a letter S with a dot underneath it. The next letter is looks exactly the same, except it has a dot on top of it. And this makes it Dad. This is a heavy D. And this is why we represent it by D and a dot under it. Dad. Da. As a matter of fact, Arabic is the only language in the world that has this letter, a heavy D. They call the Arabic language the language of the Dad, because it is the only language that has this heavy D, Dad. The next letter is a heavy T. It is called Ta. Ta. We represent it with a T and a dot under it. Ta. It's a heavy Ta. T with a dot underneath it. The next letter is Va. Now you have to look at me. It's the same, but has a dot on top of it. Va. You stick your tongue out. See my tongue? Va. Va. It's a heavy Z with sticking your tongue out. Va. I imagine the English thus would be the closest thing to it. Va. Thus. Va. And you represent it with a Z and a dot under it. But you have to stick your tongue out, unlike the Z. So this is Za, Va. Excuse me, you stick your tongue out. Dha. The next letter is Ain. Looks like this. Ain. And it is represented by an A and some kind of an apostrophe before it. This is the English representation. Ain. Now look at me. Ain. It comes from your throat. Ain. The sound, I'm trying to make as much sound as possible to let you get a feeling of that letter. From your throat. And the name of the letter is Ain. It is represented by A and an inverted comma before it. The next letter is, oh boy, these are difficult letters. It's the same but with a dot on top of it. Now this is Ghain. Oh, you have to look at me again. Ghain. It's like the French R. The closest thing to it is the French R. You hear the French saying merci, means thank you, and this is R that sounds like this letter. It's a gargling sound, and it is represented by GH. Ghain. The name of the letter is Ghain, and it is represented by GH. It sounds like the French R, the French R. Ain, Ghain. The next letter is Fa. Looks like this. The dot is very important. Fa. And of course it's equivalent to the English F. The next letter is Qa. Another difficult one. Qa. It is represented by the English Q. Qa. It's a heavy K. Qa. Again from the throat. Qa. A heavy K. Qaf. The name of the letter is Qaf. Now the next letter is Kaf. This is the regular K here. And it looks like this. The name of the letter is Kaf. And it's equivalent to the English K. Kaf. The next letter is, the name of the letter is Lam. This is Lam, equivalent to the English L. The name of the letter is Lam. The next letter is Mim, and it looks like this. Mim is the name of the letter, and it's equivalent to the English M. Mim. The next letter is Noon. Looks like this with a dot, and the name of the letter is Noon. It's equivalent to the English N. The next letter is, you have to watch how I write this one. It looks like this. This is the letter Ha. It's equivalent to the English H. Ha. The next letter is Wow. I'm not admiring anything, it's just that's the name of the letter. Wow. Just like when you like something and you say wow. This is the name of this letter. Wow. And here is the name of the letter Wow. It's equivalent to the English W. Wow. And now the last letter. You didn't think this will ever end, right? This is Ya. The last letter is Ya. Sometimes with two dots under it. Ya. Equivalent to the English Y. So this is the alphabet. And this is the most important lesson in this program. So I want you to memorize the alphabet. Do not move from this lesson until you know exactly every letter in the Arabic alphabet. I'm going to write the whole alphabet now and pronounce the names of the letters and the English equivalent. So I want you to pay attention, play the tape back and forth until you memorize the Arabic alphabet. All right? Now let us do the whole alphabet from beginning to end. Oops. There we go. The first letter is Alif. Ba. Alif is equivalent to the English A. Ba is equivalent to the English B. Ta equivalent to T. Tha equivalent to TH, as in through, think. The next letter is Jim, as in G or J. Let me change this, get another one. Next, Ha, equivalent to H with a heavy H. Ha, a loud whisper. The next letter is Kha. You see the importance of the dots? Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha. This is the letter Kha. Dal, equivalent to D as in David. Dhal, equivalent to TH as in then. Re, Ra, equivalent to R. Zain, equivalent to Z. Sin, equivalent to S as in Sam. Sheen, SH. Sad, a heavy S as in Sam. Dad, a heavy D as in David. Ta, a heavy T. Ta, this is Ta. Dha, this is like a heavy Z, but you stick your tongue out. The next letter, I guess I forgot to tell you that the Arabic is written from right to left, didn't I? The Arabic is written from right to left, as you noticed. But so I go now again to the right side and start the new line with the next letter, which is Ain. This is Ain. Ain from the throat, A. And this is Ghain, or Gha, like the French are, Gha. Fe, which is equivalent to F, as in Frank. Next letter is Qaf, with the two dots. That's a heavy Q, a heavy K, Qaf. It is the regular K. Kaf, Lam, L. Next letter is Mim. Mim. This is the equivalent to M in English, as in Mary. The next letter is Noon, equivalent to N, as in Nancy. Next is this He, Ha, H, H as in Harry. This is the letter Ha. Next is the letter Waw, just like a large comma, which is equivalent to the English W. And finally, the last letter is Ya, equivalent to Waw. Let me point at these again. Where's my pointer? Here it is. This is Alif, equivalent to A. Ba, equivalent to B. Ta, equivalent to the English T as in Tom. This is Tha, TH as in think or through. This is Jim as in G, George or go, or J, like J in John also. This is the letter Ha, a loud whisper, Ha. This is the letter Kha. It is represented in English by KH, Kha. This is Dal. Dal is equivalent to the English D as in David. This is Dhal. It is like the TH in then or the. This is Ra, R, equivalent to the English R. This is Zain, equivalent to Z as in zebra. And this is Sin, which is equivalent to S as in Sam, and this is Sheen, SH as in show, and this is Sad, a heavy S. This is Dad, a heavy D, and this is Ta, a heavy T. This is Dha, you stick your tongue out, Dha, a heavy Z with sticking your tongue out. This is the letter Ain, Ain, represented by A apostrophe A, Ain. This is Ghain, the French R, Ghain. This is Fe or Fa, equivalent to the English F as in Frank. And this is Qaf, a heavy K, Qaf, Qaf, from the throat, or Q. And this is the letter Ain, Ain, A. It's represented by apostrophe A, A. This is the letter Ghain, the French R, Ghain, G. And this is the letter Fa, represented by F as in Frank, Fa. This is Qaf, the heavy K or heavy Q, Qaf. This is Kaf, the regular K. This is K. The name of the letter is Kaf. Next is the letter Lam. You know, like the animal, the young sheep, lamb. This is the name of the letter is Lam, but it represents the English letter L. And this is Mim, represented by M as in Mary. This is Noon. The English equivalent is N as in Nancy. This is Ha, represented by the letter H in English, as in Harry. This is Waw, which is equivalent to the English W, Wow. And this is the last letter, Ya, equivalent to the letter Y in English. Now, these are all consonants. There are no vowels in the Arabic language. Another surprise, no vowels. Arabic is written from right to left, surprise, and there are no vowels. So now, the next lesson is the Arabic vowels. How are the vowels represented? The A, I, O, U, how are they represented in Arabic? How do you make the letter Ba or Bu or B? We're going to find out. Now, this lesson is about the vowels in the Arabic language. And the vowels in Arabic are simply signs you put on top of the letter or at the bottom of the letter. And this gives the direction or the vowels for the consonants. So let me use the letter Ba, B, to illustrate the vowels. The letter, now remember, I expect you to know now the alphabet by heart. You play the tape over and over until you memorize the alphabet. The Arabic, it's very important that you know the alphabet by heart. In fact, I should give you a test and tell you, what does the letter Sheen look like? Sheen, which is equivalent to SH in English. Do you know what it looks like? You should. If not, go back and study the alphabet. How about the letter Fa? Do you know what it looks like? If you don't, you go back and study the alphabet. I want you to know the alphabet by heart at this point. And now let us move on to the vowels. I will use the letter Ba to illustrate the vowels. Of course, you know that this is what the letter Ba looks like. It's equivalent to the English B. And to make it sound Ba, like in English, that English bat or butt, to give it this vowel, this direction, you simply put a slanted dash on top of the letter. and this makes it ba. Now, if you wanted to have the direction like bit or bet, all you do in Arabic is you put the slanted dash at the bottom of the letter instead of the top. This makes it B instead of ba. How about the sound boo? How do you make it read boo instead of ba or B, as in boot, for example? Well, again, you use another sign. Instead of putting a dash on top of or the bottom, you put a small comma on top of the letter, and this makes it boo. So now you have the three directions, ba, B, and boo. If you use another letter, for example, let's use the letter ta. This is ta. And to make it ta, you put a dash on top of it. This is ta. To make it T, you put the dash under it. To make it tu, you put a comma on top of it. Now, do you know what this letter is? You better, because this is kaf. You better know what it is. If you don't, go back and study the alphabet. This is the letter kaf, the regular K. And to make it pronounced ka, you put a dash, a slanted dash on top of it. This makes it ka. To make it ku, you put a comma. To make it ki, you put a slanted dash under it. So these are, it's very easy, as you see, the Arabic vowels. Now, what if we have a long vowel? Like, for example, in cat. Of course, this is K in Arabic, not C. This is K in Arabic. So there is the word cat and there is the word cut. How do you make a difference between cut and cat? Well, to give the K, the letter K, the direction ka as in cut, you just put a slanted dash, as I told you, on top of the letter. Now, to make it a long vowel, as we see here in cat, you simply add the letter alif after it. This makes it ka, makes it a long vowel. Ka, not ka. So this makes the difference between cut and cat. You add the letter alif after the letter with the slanted dash on top of it. This is ka. How about the direction ki, as in keep, for example? Here's keep. And let's say there's a word kip. How do you make a distinction between keep, which is long, and kip, which is short? So as you know by now, all you need to do to make this letter pronounced ki is to put a slanted dash under it. This makes it ki. To make it long, you simply add the letter ya after it. So this makes it ki. How about cool? For example, the word cool, let me write it here, cool. It's a long cool. Compared to the word I can think of a short ku. Can you think of a short ku? No, kut is long. Ku, we need a short one. Anyway, to make coup d'etat, as in coup d'etat. How do you spell that? Oh, it's not long, huh? Cool. Okay, cool. This is a short cool, and this is a long cool. This is an English word, huh? Well, live and learn. Cool. So here is the cool. The short one will just have a comma on top of it. To make it long, as in cool, you simply add the letter wow after it. So Now you should know that the alif and the ya and the waw can be used as to lengthen the vowels. So let me erase all this mess here and clarify the situation for you. Let us use the letter fa. This is the consonant fa. To make it fa, you put a slanted dash on top of it. To make it fi, you put a slanted dash under it. To make it fu, you put a comma on top of it. Of course, they don't all exist at the same time. It's either fa or fi or fu. Now, to make this a long fu, you just add the letter waw after it. To make it a long fa, you put an alif after it. Fa. To make it a long fi, you put the slanted dash under it and the letter ya after it. Fi. This makes it long. So, to illustrate the vowels, the alphabet will look like this. A, ba, ta, tha, ja, ha, kha, da, dha, ra, za, sa, sha, sa, da, ta, dha, a, gha, fa, qa, ka, la, ma, na, ha, wa, and ya. Now, this is the alphabet with the vowel that's equivalent to the English A or U. A, ba, ta, tha, and so on. Now, to change these sounds from A, ba, ta, tha, and so on, you just put this slanted dash under each letter and they become E, B, T, Th, G, He, Chi, and so on. If you want to change the direction from A to O or U, you put a comma on top of each letter. Then they become U, Bu, Tu, Thu, Ju, Hu, and so on. The whole alphabet. So I'm not going to do that to save time. Now you get the idea about the three vowels and the extension vowels. Once again, very fast, if this is the consonant lam, for example, there is la. And if you put the slanted dash under, it becomes li. If you put a comma on top of the letter, it becomes lu. So these are the Arabic vowels. The long vowels, you just add one more letter after it. This makes it lu. And if you put the slanted dash on the top and the alif after it, becomes la. And if you put a slanted dash under it with a ya, then it becomes a long li. So now I have a question for you. What if the letter does not have a or e or u? It's just a stop. You stop on the letter. Like in the word stop, the letter P in stop, you're stopping on the letter. It's not stop ha or stop he or stop who. It is stop. And this is exactly the next vowel or sign in Arabic. It is called sukoon. Sukoon means stop. Sukoon means stop. And it looks like a little circle on top of the letter. So if this is the letter ba, this is ba, and this is b, this is bu, and the sukun or the stop is a little circle. This means you stop on this letter. So if we use 3 letters that look like this, what is this? That's right, this is ba. If you put an alif after it, it becomes ba. If you put a sukun on top of it, you stop, bab. So this becomes bab. And you know something? This is your first Arabic word. This means door, bab. See, there is a fatha. This is called fatha. This is a sukun. And this is an extension, bab. Bab means door. So there you have it, the first Arabic word. Now, I want to give you the names of these vowels. Let me erase all this. The letter, again, the letter ba. The slanted dash on top of it is called fatha. Fatha. Now in Arabic, let us write this word in Arabic, your second Arabic word. The letter F, you go to the right side, here's the letter F. To make it fa, the vowel, you put a slanted dash on, so it makes it fa. The next letter is T, and you remember from the alphabet, this is what the ta looks like. Now we are making a stop here, fat. So you put a circle on it, makes it fat. Fatha. This is the letter ha, and it looks like this, as you know. Fatha. Fatha. Actually, in Arabic, it's called fatha. So we write fatha as a short, but it is fatha. So it's fatha. The other H is this one. Fatha. And again, a stop on this, a sukun, or a little circle. So this is how you write this, the name of this slanted dash, fatha. Fatha. Now, of course, in Arabic, these are the capital letters, if you may. You can call them capital letters. But there are, when you put the letters in connected in a word, they'll be different. I don't want to scare you now, but I will show you how these letters are connected in a word. Well, let me do it now. The fa connected will look like this. The ta will look like this. See, it's not too difficult. Fat. And the ha will look like this. Fatha. And the ha will look like this. And I'll have to explain this to you later. But this is what fatha looks like. And we're now talking about the name of this vowel here. The fatha. The next vowel is called kasra. And this is the one that goes underneath the letter. This is the letter ba, and to make it sound B, you put a slanted dash under it. This vowel is called kasra. 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 In Arabic, you take the letter kaf and make it like this for the vowel, ka. And then the sin, and you put a sukun on it, kas, ra. Here is the letter ra, and the vowel is a slanted dash on top of it, kasra, and then the ha, and with a sukun on it, a circle, kasra. This is the name of this vowel. The connected words, this ka, when it is at the beginning of the letter, looks like this. We're going to go through the whole alphabet. The sin will look like this, the slanted dash, the sukun, the circle, and then the ra, kasra, and the ha looks like this when connected, kasra. So these are represent the name of this vowel here, kasra. The next vowel is the little comma on top of the letter that makes it boo. And that little comma, when you put it on top of the letter, it makes it boo. The name of this vowel is damma, the heavy D. Damma. So you take this letter and write it here. It is the heavy, the dad, da, and then next is M, and this will bring us to another sign. See, I'm sneaking up on you with these signs, but there isn't much more. This is a stress sign, like damma, you're stressing the M, and in Arabic it is called shadda, and it looks like this, looks like a little W on top of the letter, and this makes it stressed. So this is damma, the ha goes here with a sukun on it, damma. That's the name. Now, if you connect the letters, they will look like this. This is the da, this is the ma, this is to put a slanted dash on top of the da to make it da, and the shadda on top of the meme to make it stressed, damma, and the ha looks like this, damma. So these are the names of this vowel, the damma. The next vowel that I want to explain to you is the sukun. Sukun meaning stop. And of course, you know by now that there's just a little circle on top of the letter. It is called sukun. Sukun. This is N. And to write in Arabic, the S, of course, you remember, looks like this. Sin. To make it su, you put a damma on top of it. Su. And then the ka. To make it ku, you put a damma on top of it. Suku, suku. But this is long. So to make it long, you put a waw after it, remember? The long vowel. Sukun. And then the N. With a circle on top of it. Sukun, which is this letter. Sukun. This is the name of this vowel. When connected, it will look like this. This is the sa. Put a comma on top of it, makes it, or a damma, makes it su. And this ka in the middle of the word looks like this, with a damma on top of it, and then the wa looks like this, and the noon, sukun. So this is the name of this vowel. Sukun. The last sign, maybe the one before last, is the shadda, or the stress. It looks like a little W. Now this stress is used in conjunction with the fatha or the kasra or the dhamma. It is used in conjunction with any of them, and you must stress the letter when you see this little sign. Like in Mississippi, you put a shadda on the S, Mississippi, or Massachusetts, you put a shadda on the S. Anytime you stress a letter, you put this little W, the shadda. The name of this sign is shadda, and in English it will be written like this, shadda. Now in Arabic, to write it, the letter sheen will go to the right side, will look like this, as you know. And to make it sha, because of this vowel, you put a slanted dash on top of it. The next letter would be this dal. And because it is stressed, it's a double letter in English, you just put this same sign here, shadda, in conjunction with the fatha. Shadda, and then the ha, with the sukun on it. Shadda. And when you write it down, it will be like this. Shadda. So this is the name of this sign. Shadda. Now, there is a little sign that goes with the letter alif. It's called hamza. And it really doesn't mean anything. But you'll come across it. Sometimes this hamza substitutes for the alif. If you have two alifs following each other, in Arabic, they usually substitute the Hamza for the first alif. For example, in the word Quran, here's another Arabic word, Quran. The first letter is Qaf. To make it Qu, you put a Dhamma on top of it. Qur, the next letter is Ra. You put a Sukun on it because you stop. Qur, Qur. Then we use the Hamza to substitute for the Alif because there's an extension. Remember the long vowel? Quran. There's the Noon. So this is the word Quran that is not connected. When you connect it, it will look like this. Quran. So here you have another Arabic word. Quran. So this, I wanted you to know about this Hamza, which is also found inside the letter Kaf as part of it. But this is not, it's just part of the letter. It doesn't have any additional sound to it. And now the fun begins. I'm going to study with you the way the letters look at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. So we're going to go through the alphabet letter by letter, and I will show you how the letter looks at the beginning of the connected word, at the end, and in the middle. There are, before we start anything, I want to show you 6 letters that cannot be connected from the left side. It can be connected only from one side, the right side. And fortunately, they do not change. The look does not change. They look exactly the same. These are the 6 letters. Alif, Dal, Dhal, Ra, Zain, and Waw. These 6 letters are the only letters in the Arabic alphabet that cannot be connected from this side, from the left side. They can only be connected from the right side, connected to other letters. And they do not change. They look exactly like this. They look exactly the same. So now let me go through the whole alphabet letter by letter and what they look like. And again, I want you to memorize this. Once I finish how the letters look at the beginning, middle, and end of the word, I want you to memorize everything and do not move to the next lesson until you know every single letter. That's right, every one of them, and what they look like at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. Here's the letter Alif. At the beginning of the word, it looks like this, same way, unless it is substituted by the Hamza. This is why quite often you'll see the Hamza on top of the Alif. So it either looks like this or like this at the beginning of the word. There is one word in Quran that says Antum, which is 2 alifs. So they don't write like this, Antum. This is a word in Quran, Antum. But instead of doing this, they usually substitute the Hamza for the first alif. Like I showed you before in the word Quran. So to look like this, Antum, Antum, which means are you. So this is where the letter Alif is substituted with the Hamza. As I mentioned in the first rule, the Alif can be connected from the right side. So it'll be like this, but not from the left side. So this is how it will look in the middle of the word or at the end of the word. So let's use one word, the word Bab. You know the word Bab means door. Here is the Ba, there's the Alif, and another Ba. Bab. This means door. Bab. And these are connected. So the Alif cannot be connected from the left side, as you see here, only from the right side. Okay, let's move on to the next letter, which is the letter Ba. You already saw what the Ba looks like. This is the letter Ba, and at the beginning of the word it looks like this. In the middle it looks like this. This is it here, because this is one letter and this is another letter. At the end of the word it looks like this. Okay? At the beginning, in the middle, and the end. The next letter is Ta, and it's exactly the same as the Ba, except it has the two dots, of course. In the middle it will look like this. In the end it will look like this. The next letter is the letter Tha, TH as in through, and it's exactly the same as its sister letters, except of course it has the three dots. In the middle it will be like this. At the end it will look like this. Eventually I will show you examples of these letters in words. Okay, the next letter is Jim, as you know, and you know what it looks like. Scratch your memory now and find out. It looks like this. Jim. At the beginning of the word it looks like this. In the middle it looks like this. This is one other letter and it can be connected from the left side. At the end of the word it looks like this. This is the letter Jim. The next letter Ha. Of course you know it looks like this. It's exactly the same. The next letter Kha. At the beginning it looks like this. In the middle it looks like this. At the end it looks like this. And then we come to one of the 6 letters that cannot be connected from the left. And I'm talking about the letter Dal, the next one. The letter Dal looks like this. At the beginning of the word it looks like this and cannot be connected from the left, as you know. In the middle it looks like this. It is connected only from one side. And at the end it looks exactly the same way. At the end it's exactly the same. The letter Dhal, of course, is exactly the same, except it has a dot. The next letter is Ra. That's also one of the 6 letters that cannot be connected from the left side. At the beginning of the word looks like this. In the middle it looks like this. At the end looks like this. Same as the middle. See, the looks of the letter do not change. And then the next letter is Zain, and that's also similar, except it has the dot, of course. In the middle and the end it looks like this. And now we get to the letter Sin. The capital letter, looks like this. Now at the beginning of the word it looks like this. In the middle, here is one letter coming from the right side, and it connects from both sides. It looks like this. At the end of the word it looks like this. It's connected from the right side. Sheen is exactly the same way. It has the 3 dots. At the beginning of the word, in the middle. Just be sure you have the 3 teeth showing in the middle of the word, anywhere, or at the beginning or at the end. These 3 teeth indicate the Sin without the dots or the Sheen with the 3 dots. The next letter is Sad. And the Sad at the beginning looks like this. you have to have this tooth there. Otherwise, it will be confused with other letters, as you will see. So you have to have this tooth. In the middle, it looks like this. At the end, it looks like this. Again, you have to have this tooth here. This is Sad. The Dad, of course, is exactly the same, except it has the dot on top of it. At the beginning, it looks like this. In the middle, it looks like this. Remember this tooth here? And at the end of the word, it looks like this. The next letter is Ta. And you know by now that the Ta looks like this. At the beginning of the word, it looks like this. In the middle, it is simply connected from both sides. And at the end, it looks like this. Dha is exactly the same, except it has a dot. At the beginning, it looks like this. In the middle, it looks like this. At the end, it looks like this. Oops, I lost all my colors here, but it's okay. The next letter is very interesting, the letter A. Ain. You know that it looks like this. At the beginning of the word, it looks like this. In the middle, now what's this? It looks like this. This is in the middle of the word. At the end, it looks like this. That's why I told you it's an interesting letter. Next is the letter Gha. This sounds like the French R. Gha. At the beginning, it's exactly the same as the A, except it has the dot on top of it. This is the letter Ain, and this is the letter Ghain. A and Gha. The next letter is Fa. You know, the Fa looks like this. At the beginning of the word, it looks like this. In the middle, now what's this? Now this is a circle. Perfect circle. Fa. At the end of the word, it looks like this. Remember the A looked similar to this or the Gha, but it had angles to it. This is the A. This is the Fa. To make it more confusing, this is the R. The Gha will look like this. This is Gha, Ghain, and this is the Fa. See the difference? There are subtle differences, but see, now you're an expert in the Arabic language. And this is why you know these differences. This is the purpose of this tape. You know what the A or Gha looks like and what the Fa looks like. Now, let us go to the next letter, Qaf. The letter Qaf looks like this with the two dots. At the beginning of the word, it looks like the Fa, except it has two dots. In the middle, it's exactly like the Fa, except it has two dots. And at the end, it looks like this with the two dots. It's deeper than the letter Fa. And now another very interesting letter. It is so interesting you can call it crazy letter. The letter Kaf. The letter Kaf looks like this, right? But see what it looks like at the beginning of the word. What is this? My goodness. Kaf. But this is what it looks like at the beginning of the word. This is what it looks like in the middle, connecting from both sides. And at the end, it looks like the parent letter, like this, at the end. So there's the beginning, the middle, the end. The next letter is Lam. L. Looks like this at the beginning of the word. Looks like this at the end of the word, in the middle, the middle of the word. And now you know why the letter Alif, see down here, the letter Alif cannot be connected from the left. Otherwise, you'll confuse the Alif and the Lam. So the Lam, L, can be connected from both sides, but not the Alif. At the end of the word, the Lam looks like this. I'm going to show you examples of all these letters in the beginning of the word, in the middle, and at the end. Now let us go to the letter Mim, the next letter. The Mim looks like this. At the beginning of the word, it's the same. Now in the middle, what's this? Looks like this. In the middle of the word, connected with both sides. At the end of the word, it looks like this, or like this. Some people give it a tail like that. So this is at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the word. Either way is correct. The next letter is Nun. Nun. N. At the beginning of the word looks like this. In the middle looks like this. Well, let me make this a little clearer. At the end of the word looks like this. This is the letter Nun. The next letter, if you think the Kaf was a crazy letter, this letter Ha is the craziest yet. You see, the parent letter looks like this. Ha. So at the beginning of the word, it looks like this. In the middle, and this is where it is crazy, watch very closely. This is how it looks like. Let me repeat that, big. This is what it looks like in the middle of the word, from both sides. This is the Ha. I told you it was crazy. Also, sometimes it's written like this. Ha, in the middle. At the end, it looks like this. I told you it was a crazy letter. Very strange. But once you know it, you become the expert. So here's the letter Ha. At the beginning of the word, or in the middle of the word, or at the end. It is very easy once you know. Don't let these things intimidate you. You become afraid of things when you're ignorant of them. Ignorance creates fear, but once you know, it becomes very easy. So this letter and the others will become very easy for you. The next letter is Waw. And as you remember, look down here. It's one of the 6 letters that cannot be connected from the left. And it does not change its looks like the crazy letter Ha. So at the beginning of the word, it looks like this, and cannot be connected from this side. In the middle, it will be connected only from the right side, but not from the left side, like this. And at the end, it will look the same like this. The last letter, thank goodness, is the letter Ya, which looks like this, and sometimes with 2 dots. At the beginning of the word, it looks like this, the 2 dots. In the middle, it looks like this, with the 2 dots. At the end, it looks like this, with the 2 dots. It's connected from here. So these are all the letters of the Arabic alphabet as they appear at the beginning of the word, the middle of the word, or the end of the word. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more lessons. Assalamu alaikum. So here we are again, and I have a very nice surprise for you. I'm assuming that you studied the alphabet. You know now what every single letter looks in the beginning of the word, in the middle, at the end. I am hoping that you have memorized the vowels, the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma, the shadda, the sukun. So you know all the Arabic alphabet. You know what they look like at the beginning, middle, and end of the word. You know the vowels. And the surprise is, now you can read and write Arabic. That's right. You will not understand a thing. But this you'll have to build up. You'll have to build up your vocabulary and the grammar as you go. But right now, you're supposed, if you did what you're supposed to do, that is memorize the alphabet and the vowels, you should be able to pick up any book and read it. You can pick up the Quran or any book or any Arabic newspaper and read it right now. If not, please go back and study the alphabet and what they look like and the vowels. Play the tape over and over until you memorize the alphabet, and I want you to pick up any Arabic book, look in it, and read it. I'm going to prove it to you. Okay, here we go. You know what this letter is? This is ba. We put a slanted dash under it, becomes B. We connected with this letter that has 3 teeth. You know what this is? This is the sin, and you put a sukun on it, comes bis. So this is bis. Bis. See, you can see it in an Arabic book looking like this. And then the letter mim that looks like this at the end of the word, and we put a kasra under it. This becomes bismi. See? Bismi. You should be able to read it now. You probably even know the meaning of this word. Bismi, in the name of. The next word is, here's alif with the fatha, make it a. There's a lam at the beginning of the word. We'll put a sukun on it. This makes it al. Al. This is the first word, is bismi. The next word is a and lam, al. Another lam with a fatha, Allah. Allah. There is a ha at the end of the word, remember? Bismi, and the second is Allah, He. Now, when you read these 2 letters, excuse me, I have to cut here and repeat again. Take 2 on this part. Now, when you look at these 2 words together, and this is a very simple rule that you will see over and over again. When you read the 2 words, this is Bismi and this is Allahi, together will become Bismillahi. Bismillahi. The alif and the lam become silent. This alif and lam, this is the Arabic article the, al. You're going to see it in every word. Let us look at this word here. The first letter in it is ba. We put a kasra under it to make it B. The second letter is sin, and we're going to put a sukun on it to make it bis. So these 2 letters, B and the sin with a sukun, makes it bis. The third letter is ma, mim, and we'll put a kasra under it, make it bismi. So there's an Arabic word that you probably know the meaning of this word, bismi, which means in the name of. The next word starts with an a. The second letter is L, is a lam with a sukun, L. So this makes it L. And by the way, this is the Arabic article the, L. Alif and lam with a sukun. This here is L, the article the, and you're going to see it a lot. The, L. The third letter in this second word is another lam with a fatha, al, la, al, la. And the third letter, the last letter, ha, Allah, Allah. This is a special way of writing the word that means God, Allah. So it's Bismi, Allah, these 2 words. Now when you have 2 words together, the article al becomes silent. You do not pronounce it. There is the first word, Bismi. You can read it, look it up in any book, you read it. Bismi, Bismi. And the second word, Allah. You have memorized the alphabet, you know what they look like in the beginning, the middle, and the end. Allah. And now, a very simple rule is that this article al becomes silent when you read the two words together. So this becomes Bismillah. Bismillah. And you have a shadda on this letter because of when you cancel these two, the shadda will look like that. So these are two words, in the name of God. Bismillah. And you will always see that the article L becomes silent when you combine the words together. The next word is another L, the article the, L. See, this is the God, Allah. Bismillah. Al, the most gracious Rahman. Al, Ra. And then the Ha with the sukoon. Al, Rah. And then the Ma. Al, Rahman. There it is. Bismillah. Now, because we are not stopping on Allah again, we have to put a kasra here. It becomes Bismillahi. And this word is Al-Rahman. Just make it connect because there's one more word to make this Al-Rahmani. If you stop, then you put a sukoon because sukoon means stop. Al-Rahmani. And again, if you read this letter, combine this word, combined with the other words, the article Al becomes silent and you add a shadda on this letter. So it becomes Bismillahir Rahmani. The article Al becomes silent. Same with the last word, Al, Ra, He, and the long He, Im. And because we're going to stop, we'll put a sukoon, Al-Rahim. And this Al becomes silent when you combine it with the other words. So when you read the whole thing, it becomes Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And you put a shadda here. See how easy it is? Now, as you see, you can read the words in any book. I'm going to prove it to you. Let us open a Quran at Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And you will see that it's very easy to read. And it is very easy because you studied the alphabet and the vowels and how the alphabet looks inside the words. So now let us go to the Quran and I will prove to you that you can open the Quran and read it. Okay, so here is a Quran, just a regular Quran in Arabic. There's no English in it. And we're going to open it to Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There it is. And as you see, it will look familiar to you because you studied the Arabic alphabet inside the words and you studied the vowels. So here is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim that I wrote for you on the board. There is the B with the kasra. There's the Sin. Bis. Now, don't let this extension artistic work intimidate you. There's just doesn't matter how long this is. But this is the Sin. Here's the Mi. Bis, Mi. And there is Allah. Alif, Lam, Lam, Ha. Allah. Together, the article Al becomes silent and becomes Bismillah. And there's a kasra here, makes it Allahi. Bismillahi. And there's Rahman. There is the noon. You just try to make it artistic, but there is the noon with the dot. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. See, there's nothing to it. It's very easy. You open any Quran and you can read it. You can see it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Can you read the rest? There's Alif, Lam, Mim. Alif, Lam, Mim. This sign here is a madda. Means Alif, Lam, Mim. They want you to, when you read it, to extend the Lam and the Mim. Alif, Lam, Mim. Dhalika. See how easy it is? You can recognize, you may not understand what this is, but you sure know how to read and write the Quran now. Dhalika. Al-Kitab. Al-kitab means this. Dhalika means this. Dhalika al-kitab. Dhalika al-kitab. La. This is lam alif. Lam and alif. It's a unique way of writing the lam and the alif. La. Ra. Ra. There is the ya with a sukoon. La. Rai. Ba. La. Rai. Ba means no. La means no. La. Rai. Ba means doubt. There is no doubt in this book. Dhalika, this, al-kitab, book, this book. La, no, raiba, doubt. Fihi. See the letter fa with a kasra, fi. And then the ya after the fa makes it a long fihi. In it. There's no doubt in it. This book, no doubt in it. So as you see, you can open the Quran or any Arabic book and read it. Only because you have memorized the alphabet and the vowels. Now let us go back to the board and study certain words, certain expressions. Let us now look at some familiar expressions in Arabic, and I will show you how you can actually read and write any Arabic right now. You can write your name, for example. Let's say your name is Kathleen. Let's write Kathleen. The first letter is Ka, and this is what it looks at the beginning of the word, as you know. To make it a long, you put an alif, Ka, and the alif cannot be connected from the left side. Then the next letter is Tha, Kath. The next letter is La, Kathli. So you put a kasra under it, Kathli. To make it long, you put a ya, Kathleen. See, you can write any name right now. You can read and write any name. There is Kathleen. Let us say your name is Robert. Robert. The first letter is Ra, and the direction is Ru. Robert. To make it long, Ro, Ru, and then Ba, Robert, and the Ta with the sukoon. Robert. You can read and write any name. So practice by reading, by writing your name. And you can always write to me and write any sentences and ask me to correct them for you. Some familiar expressions in Arabic like Assalamu alaikum, for example. Let us write that down. Assalamu alaikum. It is Al. The first letter is Alif. A. Al. The article Al. The means the peace on you. Al. Sa. And then another La. As-la. To make it long, put another alif, and this is what it looks like. The lam alif is peculiar. Looks like this. Al-salamu. There's the letter mim with the dhamma. Al-salamu. A. There's the letter A. La. Ay. There's the letter ya with the sukoon. Alay. Ku. Ku. And there's the mim with the sukoon. Alaykum. See how easy it is? Assalamu alaykum. It's very easy. There is al-salamu alaykum. You can read and write any Arabic right now. And this is what assalamu alaykum looks like. Let us put alhamdulillah. Praise be to God. When somebody asks you, how are you? We're going to write it in Arabic. كيف حالك? How are you? كيف حالك? Then you answer alhamdulillah. Thank God. Praise be to God. So this is what alhamdulillah looks like. The article al again. Al-ha. This is the ha. This is the mim. Alhamdu. There's the dal with the dhamma. Alhamdu. Lillah. Li. Another lam with a shadda. Lillah. Alhamdulillah. See how easy it is? All you need to do is memorize the alphabet. This is Alhamdulillah. Now let us write how are you in Arabic. كيف حالك? We will study together the grammar, and you will build up the grammar and the vocabulary as you study Quran, for example. كيف حالك means how are you. Here is كيف, the ka, there is the ya, كي, and there's the fa, كيف. What's so difficult about that? كيف means how. كيف حالك means you. For a male will be حالك. There's ha, make it long, ha, lu, ka. This is the kaf at the end of the word. Now, for a male, you say كيف حالك. For a female, you say كيف حالك. Very easy. So this is for a female. كيف حالك. And the answer will be Alhamdulillah, which implies I'm fine, Alhamdulillah. And you may want to add thank you, shukran. This will teach us a new vowel. Shukran, shu. There's the letter sheen with the dhamma makes it shu. And then the kaf, shuk, ra, and ran, shukran is a double fatha here. And you put an alif also, shukran. And you'll see this a lot. Shukran. The sound N is also added. Don't let this confuse you, but you will pick it up as you go. Sometimes the grammar makes it shukrin, a double kasra. Shukrin, shukrin. Sometimes it is shukrun, shukrun. So be aware of this double. It is not a very common thing, but you be aware of the double vowel. Shukran. You can say hamdan, for example. Hamdan. In certain grammatical situations, it will be hamdan. If you say a lot, the word a lot means kathir. Ka, thi, and make it long, you put a ya, kathir. You put a sukun for kathir. However, if you want to say shukran, kathir, this kathir will have to follow the double here, so it becomes shukran kathiran. Means thanks a lot. Kathiran. It will follow the grammar because this word is a description of this. It has to follow the same kind of grammar. So this is shukran kathiran or shukrun kathirun with a double dhamma if you want. Then you remove this alif. With a double fatha, use the alif. Then you put a double dhamma, it becomes shukrun kathirun. Now with hamdan, if you want to praise God, hamdan kathiran, then you put kathiran down here. Ka, thi, make it long, kathiran. Hamdan kathiran means a lot of praise. You want to praise God a lot. So this is the double vowel that came inadvertently. It is not very common, but you will see it in the Quran and in some other books. The next expression I want you to study is insha'Allah, God willing. Insha'Allah means God willing. In, there is E, alif with a kasra, E, in, sha, make it long, sha'a. This is another alif, because there are two alifs after each other. It's awkward to put two alifs, so they put a hamza. In, sha'a, Allah, Allah. Insha'Allah. Some other expressions would be Masha Allah, for example. Masha Allah, when you admire your own car or your own child or your own house, the Quran teaches you to say Masha Allah, which means this is God's will, this is what God has given me. You're acknowledging God's provision to you. So Masha Allah will be like this. Ma sha'a Ma sha'a Allah. Masha Allah. So these are some of the most common expressions in Arabic. And you can read them and you can write them very well now because you memorize the alphabet. You can now read and write any Arabic book, newspaper, or anything because you now recognize the alphabet. This is take one of the grammar. Welcome back. Now we are going to look at the grammar, Arabic language grammar, a very important lesson. The grammar, forget it. Take two. This will make me smile. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And now we come to a crucial point in our lesson, Arabic language grammar. We're going to study the Arabic grammar, and I have a novel way of presenting it. Hopefully, I will make it easy for you. When you look at any Arabic word, search for the root of the word. For example, let's take the word book, kitab. The word kitab has a root word which is kataba, to write. And this, the derivation of the word will show you that kitab has something to do with writing a book. For example, the word Quran. Take the word Quran. The root word would be qara'a, which means to read. Quran means a book to read. And so on. Any Arabic word, look for the root of the word. And this will give you a hint as to what the meaning is. And now, for the grammar, what I will do, I will take root words and show you the different grammars of that word. And you will see by comparison. Now let me say at the outset that what I'm going to show you are the general rules. There are, of course, exceptions. And those are not much. There are only a few exceptions. So just look at the general rules, and this will help you a lot, and practice reading and writing. This will help you tremendously. So now let's take the first word, kataba. The root word is kataba, which means to write. It looks like this, as you know. This is ka. This is ta in the middle of the word. And this is ba. Kataba, which means to write. Now, he writes will look like this. Yaktubu. 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 Let me get a better ink here. Now, she writes will be taktubu. Taktubu. I write will be aktubu. Aktubu. Also, you write will look like this. Taktubu will be either she writes or you write. We'll use the same word. Now, they write will look like this. Yaktubun. An extension here. Yaktubun. This means they write. If it is plural, you write, it will be taktubun. It will look like this. Taktubun. تكتبون means you, plural, write. So here is the root word كتب. He writes يكتب. She writes تكتب. Or you write singular will be تكتب. I write would be أكتب. They write would be يكتبون. You, plural, write will be تكتبون. And of course, كتاب means book. كتاب. This means book, and you can see that if you go to the root word كتب means to write. So what you need to know is that كتب means to write. And anytime you see a word with the ka and ta and ba, you know that it has to do with writing. Now, let's go to the next word. قرأ means to read. قرأ. قرأ, to read. Now, he reads would be يقرأ. يقرأ. Now notice here كتب يكتب. قرأ يقرأ. She reads would be تقرأ. تقرأ means she reads, or also you, singular, read. تقرأ. I read will be أقرأ. أقرأ. أقرأ means I read. So I want you to notice here كتب, to write. قرأ, to read. يكتب, he writes. يقرأ, he reads. تكتب, she writes. تقرأ, she reads. أكتب, أقرأ. This is I read. أكتب, I write. So you can see here the similarities. كتب, يكتب. قرأ, يقرأ. كتب, تكتب. قرأ, تقرأ. This is أكتب. This is أقرأ. Now, the plural for they write is يكتبون. For they read would be يقرؤون. Can you see the similarities? It's very easy. Don't let it scare you at first. يقرؤون. You see the similarities? This means they read. Now, you read, you plural would be تقرؤون. تقرؤون. You can see the similarities. And of course, the word Quran, Quran, is the root word is from qara'a, means to read. Quran means a book to be read. This is what Quran means. Let us take another word. For example, to eat means akala. Akala. To read, to eat, excuse me. Akala. Now, he eats would be ya'kulu. Do you see the trend? Ya'kulu means he eats. This is the root word, akala. For the past tense, he ate. And kataba is the root word, and it is also the past tense, he wrote. Qara'a is the root word, meaning to read, and also means the past tense, he read. Akala, the root word, which means to eat, and it is also the past tense, that means he ate. Now, I want you to notice the similarities. When the root word is kataba, he writes would be yaktubu. Qara'a, yaqra'u. Akala, ya'kulu. And so on. Well, So what you need to do is look for the root of the word and find out, all you need to do is find out the meaning of that root word, and then from the context of the sentence, you'll be able to tell what the word is saying. So now let us go to the next word as far as the root word akala is concerned, which means to eat. Now, she eats would be ta'kulu. Excuse me, this will be a sukun here. Ta'kulu. Ta'kulu means she eats, or you, singular, eat. I eat would be a'kulu. And because of the accord of two letters, we put a madda here, means akulu. Akulu. I eat. Now, they eat would be ya'kulun. 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 Now, you eat, you plural would be ta'kulun. Ta'kulun. You see the similarities here? This is taktubun, means you, plural, right? Taqra'un, you read. Ta'kulun, you eat. Do you see the similarity? Taktubun, taqra'un, ta'kulun. Yaktubun, yaqra'un means they read. Ya'kulun means they eat. Yaktubun, yaqra'un, ya'kulun. You can see the similarities here. Now, I write is aktubu. Aqra'u, I read. Akulu means I eat. You see the similarity? Aktubu, aqra'u, akulu. How about another word? Hamada means to praise. Will look like this. Ha-ma-da. Ha-ma-da. Now, he praises would be yahmadu. There is ya, there is ha, yahmadu. Means he praises, yahmadu. You praise or she praises would be tahmadu. Here is ta, ha, tahmadu. I praise would be ahmadu. Ahmadu. They praise would be yahmadun. Yahmadun. Yahmadun means they praise. And you means, you plural would be tahmadun. Excuse me. Ta, there's the ha, tahmadun. You can see the trend. And this is the grammar of all these words. Tahmadun. I am going to close by giving you an example of using one of these words in a sentence, and you will get the idea. And I urge you to practice by reading the Quran, writing sentences, learning vocabulary, building up your vocabulary. And the best way is to read the Quran and compare the meanings. Look at the meanings. So, this word, alhamdulillah, for example, from hamada, alhamdulillah, you look for the root word hamada, which means praise. So this will tell you that alhamdulillah means praise be to God. And it will look like this. This is the article meaning the hamdu. Or this should be a fatha here. Hamdu. Lillah. There's a shadda, lillah. Alhamdulillah. And you can see here that hamada is the root word from hamada, means praise. Alhamdulillah. You can read very, very easy. And the next word I want you to see is, what is this? Lam, put a kasra, makes it li. Another lam. Now put a shadda on it. Remember the shadda? The stress with a fatha. Makes it lillah. 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 Put a ha and the sukoon. Lillah. So the two words are Alhamdu Lillah. Alhamdulillah. You can go now to any Quran in the world, open the first surah, and you can read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, and so on. You can read any Arabic now, once you have memorized the alphabet and what it looks like, and the vowels. You know the alphabet and the vowels. You can write your name. You can write anything you hear. Write the sounds. Alhamdulillah. Now we will take a reading lesson. Now that you know the alphabet and what it looks like, what every letter looks like at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the word, you can read any Arabic. So let us read the first surah in Quran. As you see here, the first letter in the first verse is B. See, this is the letter B. You know it by now, with a kasra under it, B. The next letter is Sin. This is the sukoon as written in this book. Bis. And then Me. Here is Mim with a kasra under it. Bismi. And then Allah. There's Alif. And then Lam. Lam. Ha with a kasra. Bismi. Allahi. Bismillahi. Then Alif. And then Lam. And then Ra. Notice that the Ra has a shadda on it. See the shadda? You know all these vowels by now. Shadda and then a fatha on it. This makes a stress on the letter Ra. Because when you read the complete sentence, this Alif and this Lam become silent. So you go Bismillahir Rah. There's Ha with a sukoon on it. Ha and then Mim with a fatha on it. Ar-Rahmani. There is the noon. See the noon? With the dot, with the kasra. Ni. Ar-Rahmani. And the last word in this verse is Ar-Rahim. There is Alif. There is Lam. There is Ra. With the shadda and the fatha. So mix it the stress on the Ra. Rahim. There is Hi. Ha with the kasra. And then the extension of the kasra, which is the Ya with the two dots. See the two dots? Him. There is the last letter Mim. Now this happens to have a kasra under it. So the whole thing pronounces Bismillahi Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahimi. But if you stop, you don't have to say me. Then you put a sukoon on top of this letter and becomes Bismillahi Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This is the first verse. There's number 1. We didn't study the numbers yet, but we will do this a little later. So this is verse number 1. Now we go to verse number 2. First word, there's the Alif, there's the Lam, there's a Ha, Al, Ha. See the fatha for the Ha is up there. Al, Ha, and then Mim with a sukoon on it. Ham, Al, Ham, Do. See, this is the Dal with a Dhamma on it. See the Dhamma? Alhamdu. And then Li, there's a kasra under the first Lam here. See the kasra? And then this second Lam has a shadda on it, a stress, and a fatha. Lillahi. Alhamdu lillahi. The next word is Ra. See the Ra? A beautiful Ra. Has a fatha. This is what makes it Ra. The next letter is Ba. See the Ba? Beautiful Ba with a kasra under it and a shadda on top of it. This makes it Rabbi. Rabbi. The next word is A, and then Lam, Al means the. Al, A. See the A in the middle of the word? Remember what it looks like?
This is what it looks like in a book. A with a fatha on it. A. Next letter is La. This little deal here means some kind of extension. A, La. A, La. This is La with a fatha, La. And then there is a meme in the middle of the word. Remember what it looks like? Meme with a kasra under it. And then an extension, Ya, Meen, Na. This is Na with a fatha on it. So let me read the whole thing for you. It says, Alhamdu lillahi Rabbi al-alameen. Alhamdu lillahi Rabbil alameen. If you stop, you don't continue, then you put a sukoon on the noon and you stop there instead of this fatha. This fatha is in case you continue. But this is the end of a verse and there's the number 2 right there. See what it looks like? This is the number, the Arabic numeral 2. Because this is the end of verse number 2. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. We will study the meanings a little later. The next verse starts with the word, there's alif, lam, al means the, as you know by now, and then ra, ar-ra. There's a shadda and the fatha, ra. And then a ha with a sukoon on it, ar-rah. And then a meme, there's the meme with a fatha on it, ma. And then there's a noon with a kasra under it, rahmani. The next word is, there's alif, there's lam, with a shadda on it. No, excuse me, the shadda is on the ra. There's a ra with a shadda and a fatha, ra. And there's a ha with a kasra that goes with it. There's a ya to extend the kasra, make it he. This is the meme at the end of the word, as you have seen before. Al-Rahmani Ar-Rahimi. So when you read the whole thing together, it sounds Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahim, because you stop at the M. Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahim. This is why they have the shaddas on the Ra. This Ra and this Ra. And this is the end of verse number 3. See the number 3 there? Now let us study the meanings of what we read so far. We'll go to the very beginning. The Bismi. This means in the name of. You will know this at the end of the lessons. Bismi, in the name of Allah. There's Allah. Alif, Lam, Lam, Ha. Allah. Bismillahi means in the name of God. And then Ar-Rahmani means the gracious. And then Al-Rahim, Ar-Rahim means the merciful. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. Then the second verse, Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbi Al-Alameen. Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdu means praise. Lillahi, to God. Praise be to God. Rabbi means Lord. Al-Alameen, the universe. Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbi Al-Alameen. Praise be to God, Lord of the universe. And this is the end of verse number 2. Verse number 3, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the gracious, the merciful. This is the same as in the first verse. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Now we move on to the next verse, verse number 4. The first word in verse number 4 is Maliki or Maliki. Malik means king. There is Ma, see the meme with a fatha on it, Ma, and then the lam in the middle of the word with a kasra under it, Mali. And then the kaf, remember the kaf? With a kasra under it makes it ki. Maliki. Maliki. King. And then the next word is Ya. See how Ya looks in the beginning of the word? Ya. And then Wa with a sukoon on it. Yaw. Yaw. Mi. There is a meme with a kasra under it. Yaw. Mi. Maliki. King. Yawmi means day. King of the day of judgment. Here is judgment. Ad-Din. There's Alif, Lam, Al, and there is a Dal with a Kasra, Al-Di, And then the extension, remember the extension of the kasra is the letter ya with the two dots. Al-din. Here's a fancy noon with the dot on top and the kasra under it makes it ni. Maliki yawmi al-dini. So if you say the whole thing and stop, then it sounds Maliki yawmi al-din. Maliki yawmi al-din. Maliki yawmi al-din. The alif and the lam are very often silent when you connect, say all the words together. And we will know this a little later in these lessons. And this is the end of verse number 4. This is what the numeral 4 looks like. Maliki Yawmiddin, King of the Day of Judgment, or Master of the Day of Judgment. And here comes the next verse. There's an alif with a kasra on it, and this little deal here is the hamza. It is not necessary, but most people write it anyway. E. The next letter is ya, with a shadda on it and the fatha. So iya. And then there's an alif which extends the fatha, makes it iya ka. See the kaf with the fatha on it, ka. Iyaka. And then this is a noon at the beginning of the word. There's the one dot. And there's a fatha which makes it na. And this is ayn in the middle of the word with the sukoon, na. And there is ba with the dhamma on it. See the dhamma? Beautiful dhamma there. Na'bu. Na'bu do. There's the dal with the dhamma. Na'bu do. So this says Iyaka na'budu, which means only you we worship. Na'budu means we worship. Iyaka na'budu. Only you we worship. And this wa, there is a letter wa with the fatha on it. It means and. This one letter here represents the word and, wa. Again, you know this word, iyaka, and only you. Now let us go to the next word, nasta'in. Noon with a fatha, there is the one dot, there is the noon with a fatha. They make it long here to distinguish it from the three teeth of the letter sin that comes after it. Nas, there is a sin with a sukoon, nas, and there is a ta, the two dots, ta with a fatha, nas, ta, and there is ayn in the middle of the word with a kasra under it, nasta'i, and then the extension, the letter ya, nasta'in, with a dhamma makes it nu, nasta'inu, but if you stop, then it becomes nasta'in. Iyaka na'budu means only you we worship. Iyaka na'budu, only you we worship. Wa and Iyaka, only you, nasta'in, which means we ask for help. And only you we ask for help. The next verse, this is by the way the numeral number, the numeral 5. This is what 5 looks like in Arabic. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in is the verse number 5 in this first surah of Quran. The next word, there is an alif, E, and then a ha. Remember the ha? This is what it looks like in books. With the sukoon makes it a stop. Di. There's a kasra under the dal. Di. And there is na, noon, with a fatha, and an extension makes it ihdina. See how beautiful this is? Ihdina. Guide us. Ihdina means guide us. Ihdina. The next word is al-si. There's a sad with a kasra. Al-si, ra. There's a ra with a fatha. Al-si, ra. This little deal here means extend a little bit. It's not exactly an alif. Al-si, ra, ta. There's a ta with a fatha. Means the path. Al-si, ra, ta. Ihdina, guide us. As-sirata, guide us in the path. And then this word here is al-mustaqim. Alif, lam, al means the. There is a meme with a dhamma on it. There is a meme with the dhamma, mu. And there is a sin with a sukoon, mus. There is a ta with a fatha, ta, musta. And then the qaf with the kasra makes it qi. And the extension of it is this ya here, مستقيم. There's a meme with a fatha مستقيمة, but when you stop, it makes it مستقيم. So the whole verse, this is 6. This is the numeral 6 in Arabic. Looks like the English 7, doesn't it? This is 6, verse 6. Let us go to the beginning of verse 6. It says, Ihdina, guide us. As-sirata means the path. Al-mustaqim means the straight. So this is my chance to tell you that in Arabic, the adjective comes after the noun. In Arabic, you don't say beautiful rose, you say rose beautiful. That's the way it is in the Arabic grammar. So this is why here you find it says Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, guide us in the path, the straight. In English, guide us in the straight path. And this is verse 6. And now we move to verse number 7. Sirata, you know this word by now, there's a sad with a kasra, makes it si. And then a ra with a fatha, or there's the fatha for the ra. Si, ra. Ta, there's a ta with a fatha. Sirata. And then it means the path. Path. Alladhina means those. There's alif, there's lam with a shadda, and the fatha. Alla. The shadda means stress, remember? Alla. And there's a val with a kasra. Alla, the. And the extension for the kasra is this letter ya with the 2 dots. Alladhina. See the beautiful noon with 1 dot and the fatha. Alladhina. Sirata. Alladhina means path of those. The next word is an'amta, means you blessed. The path of those whom you blessed. There's an'amta, the letter alif with the fatha. This is the hamza. And then there is the noon, the 1 dot, and the sukoon. In this book is written in this way, an open little circle that is open on the left side. And there is the with the fatha. There is the and there is the meme with the sukoon. Ta. There is the ta with the fatha on it. In order to follow me perfectly, you have to know the Arabic alphabet by heart. You must know it very well. If you don't, please go back to the beginning of the tape and study the alphabet. This is very easy for people who had memorized the alphabet. An'amta means blessed. You blessed. The next word is a. See the beautiful a at the beginning of the word with the fatha. This is why it is a, because it is a fatha. Next there is the lam with the fatha, which makes it ala. Ala. This is the letter ya with the 2 dots. With the sukoon makes it alay. Alay. And this is the letter ha. I showed you that this is one of the ways of writing it. And a kasra. Alayhim. There's a meme with a sukoon. Alayhim means on them. You shower your blessings on them. You blessed. So from the beginning, it is sirata, the path, alladhina, of those, an'amta, blessed, alayhim, whom you blessed. Alayhim means on them. Your blessings are on them. And then the next word is gha. Remember this funny letter? Gha, like the French are. Gha with a fatha. Gha. And then there is a letter ya with the 2 dots and the sukoon. Ghay. And then the letter ra with a kasra makes it ri. Ghayri. Ghayri means other than or not. Al-maghdub. Maghdub means people who have incurred anger from God or wrath, the wrath of God. So ghayri means not those. A means alif lam. The alif lam is al, the. There is a meme with a fatha, ma, and there is a ghain again. This is ghain in the beginning of, in the middle of the word. This is the ghain at the beginning of the word, and this is another ghain in the middle with a sukoon. So it makes it al-maghdu. There's a du because there is a dhamma here on top of the letter dad. Maghdu. And there's the extension This is the extension for the Dhamma. غير المغضوب makes it long. Do, B. There's a B, letter B with the kasra under it. مغضوبي. غير المغضوبي. Not the ones who have incurred God's anger. مغضوبي means they have anger on them. مغضوب. عليهم, on them. There's the word عليهم, on them. They have incurred God's anger. عليهم means on them. There's the a with the fatha. A, and then lam with the fatha means la. A, la. And then there's the letter ya with the sukoon means alay. And then there's the letter ha with the kasra, he. Alayhim. There's another, I went through it before.